Wow, small world. But one of the blessings of social media, right? It's not all bad. There's a lot of good. Keeps cool people in your path.
Totally. Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. I was like, yeah, sometimes we're like staying connected in a, I don't know, inauthentic or unhealthy way. And I just felt like you've always been someone that when I follow, I feel uplifted, I feel empowered. And just like, yeah, I had to reach out. I couldn't not reach out. But yeah, I want to start with, your journey of being a hairstylist and how
Mhm.
you had some of these health issues and started to figure out that a lot of the chemicals and a lot of the different things that were disturbing your systems. Like, what was that journey like for you?
So figuring out how sick the hair industry made me I didn't figure it out until I stepped back and like backed off of the hair industry. And then when I came back, bam, it was like, oh, here's floodgate. You closed that for a little while. Here, let's open that back up. And bam, like it's almost like you don't realize how sick you are until you're not sick anymore. And then suddenly it hits you like a truck again. And then you're like, holy shit, like I've been dealing with this for years. And so how I actually figured this out was all because of my son. Like I honestly don't know if I would have left the hair industry. I think that for a long time, I just finally got resigned to the fact that my body just hurts because it hates me. This is just some random machine that I was doomed with. I never asked for this body, right? And she's always going to be overweight. She's always going to be in pain, and headaches are just a thing, and infertility is just a thing. And like this is just what it is, right? I will always have these problems. This was my lot in life, right? And I just kind of like just assumed that that's what it is. And the depression and the anxiety, oh, that comes with being an adult. No, it doesn't. It comes with huffing chemicals every day, all day for 13 years, right? And I actually didn't even figure out how bad and how toxic the hair industry was for me until I started healing my son. Because you know how it is, right? Like we'll do anything for our loved ones long before we start going, oh, wait, I deserve this too. I deserve to be healthy too and to heal too. I can heal. It's like we can't even comprehend the fact that we can heal, that we're hurting, right? It's always I'm fine. I'm fine. I got this. I'm fine. But the moment your kid or a family member gets sick, it's like hell or high water. You will figure it out and you will cure them. So why won't we do it for ourselves? And so it was after and while I was working on healing him that all the puzzle pieces started clicking together for me on why I was sick. And I actually got canceled. That's why I left the hair industry in the first place, is I got canceled in 2020 over a rumor and a lie. That was really trendy then. You remember 2020 where lots of rumors, lots of lies, canceling people we don't like, right?
What does that
And
mean canceled for you? Like, did you get kicked off the internet?
oh, not off the internet, but I had death threats. I lost both my ambassadorships. I lost all of my contracts in the hair industry. They all kicked me out. I was labeled a racist and a fascist over something I didn't even do. It was a rumor and a lie that got spread. And but
Oh,
thank you, beauty industry and the internet, it went viral. And to this day, whoever that whack job nutcase chick who started this rumor and lie, whoever the hell you are, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. You being malicious and angry and hurting or whatever was going on in your life that you felt the need to attack me, from the bottom of my heart, I am no longer angry with you. And I am so grateful, because if it wasn't for you forcing me out, I never would have healed my kid. And in turn, I never would have been healed, because I am one proud mother effer. And I would have like stuck with the hair industry and kept going, because that's just what you do. And to be honest, with my personality, I had to get kicked in the ass in order for me to wake up. And so whoever you are, bless you, mama. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing better.
oh, I love that. And those moments that we can look back and say
Mm-hmm.
thank you, I feel like are the most healing, the
Mm-hmm.
most nourishing and like the best for us, because it allows us to shine even brighter, to have gratitude through what we think is like the most painful, the most shitty, uncomfortable situation ever, to look back with gratitude.
It
When
took
you,
me years. I
yeah,
don't think it probably took until the last 6 months. About 6 months ago, doing your own inner healing, right? Like we're all working on our own stuff, right? And working on my own wounds. Finally, I got to the point where I was just like, wait a second. If it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for her, who knows where my kid would be? If it wasn't for her, who knows where I would be? If it wasn't for her, I would still be stuck in the rat race. And suddenly all of my I was so angry, like just cursed that girl to hell for so long, right? And finally I was just like, wait a second. It, thank you. It was you. Like, yeah, I had to go through hell. But if it wasn't for the hell, if it wasn't for the hard, I don't think I would have had the tenacity, like you said, the tenacity that it would have taken in order to get or come to where I've come to and get my child to where he is. And to be honest, I've gotten so strong, I like blow my own mind now. Like, no one can say anything to me. Like, you can drag my name through the mud. You can say, well, you're wrong, da da da. And I'm like, honey, I am so educated. I know what I'm talking about so well and so deeply. Like, you can't convince me otherwise, right? Like, I know what I'm talking about. And so, like, haters and stuff, it doesn't even faze me anymore. And it wouldn't have gotten to that point had I not had to go through that crucible, you know? And so it was just about 6 months ago where it was amazing. It was like 20 tons of anger and resentment just lifted off of my chest. And instead, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I do mean it. And if I ever meet her someday, she'll probably, be terrified of me or something, but I'm just going to walk up to her and give her the biggest hug and be like, I hope you're doing better now because you changed my life.
yes, a big
Yeah.
bear hug.
Big bear
I think
hug.
that will happen. I think that will happen for sure. I can
We'll
see that
see.
happening. And yeah, and like you said, 20 tons lifted off of you.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was working in, I was doing all the workouts, but once I started working in, and it took a long time, a lot of
Yeah.
family trauma, a lot of unlearning, a lot of reprogramming and all these things. But I'll never forget that moment where I was like, oh, that anger, that resentment, that pissed offness, that blamer, like, is gone. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel so light. And that was the moment I realized too, like, it lives in our body too. Like, all of those emotions, that anger, that frustration that we just try to hold on to because we want to make it like I'm right and they're wrong. Like,
Yep.
it lives within our body. And I remember specific places in my body that would just consistently hurt.
Yes.
And as soon as I just stayed with it, and it wasn't a short journey, right? It took years of working in
And
and showing
still,
up.
right? And you're still doing shit. I'm like, okay, I'm
Yep.
good. Oh, look, another layer. Oh, joy.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't know how you feel, but it's just like once you've done it, it's like you build I call it like bicep curls for your brain or bicep
Yep.
curls for your heart, where, like you said, like, it doesn't really faze me anymore. And I'm not afraid to move through it because I'm not going to go around it. I'm not going to jump over it. Like, we really have to go through that pain to really get to the gold.
The best lesson that I've learned about this is, and if there's one thing you take away from this podcast, guys, please hear me on this, okay? Write it down, put it on your mirror, stick it on your phone, wherever you need, and I want you to memorize this. The shittier it is, the more glorious the outcome, right? So if what you're going through right now is hell, the exact equal amount of success and joy and happiness and light and healing is on the other end. It's karma. It's balance. There's balance in all things. So if you're hurting bad now, if you persevere, as bad as you're hurting is as good as you're going to get on the other end. And so I've gotten to a point now because I recognize that. I go, oh, this is shitty. Ooh, it's really shitty. Ooh, this is going to be really good on the other end, And so now it's like, oh, it's just a little shitty. Okay, I'm going to get a little good, And so right now, like Lunden, yesterday, I pulled my kid from school. And I am writing up an unlearning curriculum for my kid because he's a circle that they're trying to fit into a square, right? And like yesterday, I bawled and the terror and all of that, but that terror is a lot shorter now than it used to be, right? And that terror is just like, okay, this is scary. Man, this means it's going to be awesome because it just happens over and over and over. And that's the pattern of life. And I don't think you can truly believe that or understand that until it's happened to you 2 or 3 times. And then suddenly you start to recognize, oh, okay, things aren't happening to you. They're happening for you. If you will look at it and go, wow, this is a shitty lesson. Okay, lesson, come here because you're going to make me better. And it's just, it kind of turns into this life and death cycle over and over and over. And I just recognize each time I'm like, so yesterday, for example, I had a whole death cycle. And it's funny because they're shorter now, right? Like they don't take so damn long anymore. So yesterday I had a little death cycle of me going, oh, I still, even though I've unlearned about food and I've unlearned about the medical industry and I've unlearned about the toxins of hair, like I've unlearned so much, right? I still subconsciously had it in the back of my head that I didn't want my kid to turn out weird or not be socialized or not be good enough. And I hadn't unlearned school system yet. And that's when I was like, wait a second, every time I'm frustrated, that's because something's not right. And I've been frustrated for several months now. And the moment I made the decision, like, okay, I'm done, the frustration went away and the excitement came in. And I was like, oh, okay, so whatever I'm going to create is going to be awesome because that's just how it is. And so it sounds too good to be true. It sounds a little vain. It sounds a little crazy. But anyone who focuses and pays attention to this, like London, you know what I'm saying, right? Like you've been through this, you know what I'm talking about. When you get to that point, suddenly life doesn't get so scary. It gets full of hope, right? Doesn't mean things are going to be easy. But instead of anxiety, your anxiety will slowly be replaced with hope. And life just gets a lot cooler. It gets a lot more interesting when you can get to that point.